Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. Today's video, I want to talk about positions of need. I want to talk about, upgrading some spots on the defense and the offense that I think will allow this team to continue to progress going into this rebuild. And yes, again, this is still a rebuild. If you thought different, you thought wrong. Yeah, just some positions of need, and whether they're addressed in free agency or addressed in the draft, these are just some positions in no particular order that I think need to improve in order for the Giants to improve as well and be able to compete not only in the division but also in the conference and ultimately for championships. Now, the number one key position that I'm focused on in this offseason is going to be interior linebacker. We saw the play this year. It was not consistent at all. Guys that we depended on, guys like Tae Crowder, Jaylon Smith, Micah McFadden, Jarrad Davis later on in the season, Austin Calitro, a lot of guys, a lot of who's out there, a lot of guys that, are journeymen, or a lot of guys that just aren't up to par, with trying to compete at a certain level. And I don't mean to say that I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say that. Let me start off with that. But you see that the consistency is not there. Whether it's getting caught in traffic, not being able to shed blocks, losing sight of the ball carrier, slowness, not quite getting there, not being able to chase sideline to sideline, things like that. You need to address that position because I think the run defense would have been a lot better with consistent interior linebacker play. Now, we did try to address it a little bit and try to put band-aids over bullet holes, like they say. But yeah, you look at Jaylon Smith. You picked him up off the couch. Tae Crowder overachieved, was Mr. Irrelevant, made some plays, was able to get a starting role. Does he start for any other team? I don't know. I don't think so. Jaylon Smith, again, a guy with a promising career from college, had the horrible knee injury, lost a step, and hasn't been able to fully recover from that. Micah McFadden, a rookie. Darrian Beavers, we were so excited for Darrian Beavers, and he gets hurt, injured ACL in the preseason, and the guy that you think was going to be the starting linebacker, becomes out for the season. So there's some guys here that can possibly step up. Like, again, the name Darrian Beavers, a lot of people have faith and hopefully he can come back, because I think the potential is there for Darrian Beavers. But again, this is a knee injury. We'll see how he looks when he comes back. I see him posting on social media. He's working out. He's in the facilities. He's doing what he needs to do to get back. So praying for that young man to get back into this, get back to where he needs to be and contribute, for this team. Ultimately be healthy. But that's a guy that I look at. Okay, so now we have a downhill type of linebacker. Micah McFadden is a downhill type of linebacker. We need that side-to-side run and chase type linebacker to set up or to line up next to those guys. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Landon Collins. I don't know what's going to happen with Jarrad Davis. I don't believe we bring back Jaylon Smith. So right now you're looking at Darrian Beavers and Micah McFadden that are on the roster right now, that have contracts right now. And I think interior linebacker is a place of need, absolutely. Who do you put next to these guys? Now, if you're talking about the draft, there's one guy that's a perfect match for New York Giants football, and I think the wing system in the first round, and that's going to be the linebacker from Clemson, Trenton Simpson. And I think that a guy like that, it's crazy too, because he's 6'3", 230, 240 pounds, and they're saying that he can run a 4.40 or 4.39 40, and I can't wait for the combine to see exactly what's going on. But if a guy like that is available in round 1 at pick 25, I think you get him. So interior linebacker is the number one spot I think needs to be improved in this offseason. Another spot is going to be cornerback. Now, Adoree Jackson spent some time being hurt, but when he did play, he played very, very well. And I know going into the season when we lost Bradbury or had to waive Bradbury because of contracts or cap issues, he was like, oh, is Adoree Jackson a real #1 cornerback? And I think this year he proved that he could be a #1 cornerback. But we need somebody to pair with Adoree Jackson. Now, again, whether it's the draft, whether it's free agency, there's guys out there like Courtland Sutton from the Pittsburgh Steelers that's a cornerback that could be a #2 to Adoree Jackson. You know, what do we do with Cordell Flott? You know, he came along at the end. If he had a full season, you know, what could he have looked like? Again, he's very light, but he does have the length that you want for outside corners. You know, 6'1", only 175 pounds, if that. If he can get up to about 185, 190, I think he could be a contributor as a CB2 or a candidate for that CB2 position. But the Giants need a lot of help in that secondary as well. We were able to hold up pretty well. You know, Fabian Moreau, we got him as a free agent. Got him off his couch. Are we gonna go ahead and re-sign him, give him another contract? That's something to be seen. I wouldn't mind bringing him back, but I don't want to depend on Fabian Moreau, you know, being that cornerback too, because we do need to get younger in that position, and we could definitely use an upgrade, especially in this division when you're looking at teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, and the type of wide receiver cores that they have, the Commanders as well, because, you know, we have to be able to cover these guys, and not only just in zone. We need to be able to depend on these guys in man-to-man, because Wink likes to run that man-to-man. You saw him in some cases run the zone just because of the talent. The one-on-one matchups were not in our favor. So you have to get another cornerback in here, or maybe 2 cornerbacks in here that can do the job. Another position of need is going to be, on the offensive side, is going to be interior linemen. We're going to need a center. We're possibly going to need some more guards. Now, we have a lot of guards on the team already. You know, Bredesen's a guard, Azudu's a guard, McKeithen's coming off injury. He's a guard that can also play tackle. Azudu, like I said, is a guard, but can also play tackle. So we have a lot of guards on the team. Nick Gates can play center and guard, but Nick Gates does not have a contract going into the 2023 season. Nick Gates is actually one guy that I probably would bring back just for the depth in the interior lineman in that area. I will bring, you know, him back. Obviously, Bredesen is still under contract. Azudu, McKeithen, I like these guys, but I think we need to target a center, a legitimate center, you know, either in free agency or the draft. There's some guys out there, but we'll see what happens. I was doing mock drafts and things like that, and you see there's some quality centers that you can get in that third round. A lot of guys out there. Depending on what happens in the combine, guys might go up, guys might go down after the combine, but definitely center is an area of need. Interior lineman is an area of need, because, like I said, you wanna improve on these guards. And one big question, okay, obviously Evan Neal, you know, one of our big draft picks going into this year. And we didn't quite see what we wanted to see from Evan Neal, but I'll keep telling people, okay, give him some time, let him develop. One thing I will say is this. So if Evan Neal doesn't develop into that tackle that we need or think he can be, just like a lot of Alabama tackles, you can always kick these guys inside to play guard. And he's played guard before, but then you have to figure out who your tackle's going to be, and do you draft one? Do you go ahead and hedge your bet? Do you go ahead and do that quickly? If there's a tackle available in this draft where the talent is too big for you to pass up, do you draft that guy and kick Evan Neal inside, or do you keep on riding with Evan Neal? That's a good question to have, you know, going into the 2023 season as well. But again, for me, go ahead and let Evan Neal get another year tackle, see if he can improve, and if it does not work out, you kick that man inside. So obviously, we also need some additional running back help. Depending on what happens with Saquon Barkley, if we bring him back, you know, he still is going to need somebody to share some snaps with. Now, Brightwell is still on the team. Brady's going to be a free agent, and we have the rookie Corbin, who didn't really play this year, was on the practice squad for pretty much the whole year. Those guys are going to step into that role as, you know, rotational guys with Saquon Barkley if we bring Saquon Barkley back. If we do not bring Saquon Barkley back, that's a big hole to fill. And again, You're looking at the draft. You're looking at these running backs. Who can be a guy that can step in there and give you some plays, some quality snaps, some quality play at a running back? Obviously, the running back out of Texas, Bijan Robinson, is there. But again, what happens with Saquon Barkley is very, very big going into this offseason. Very big. And I think the decision on him pretty much affects the draft, affects free agency, and what we do moving forward. Obviously, another thing, another position I think is going to be a position of need is safety. As much as I like Julian Love, as much as I bigged him up all season, there was a point in the season where he was the top defensive guy. You know, it was early in the season, but he was making the most plays, and that's with Dexter Lawrence coming on strong. And then I still thought Julian Love was making some of the best plays and playing some of the best ball he's played in his career early on in the season. Once Xavier McKinney went down and he had to play out of position, you saw his play go down. But Julian Love might have priced himself out for the New York Giants. And a lot of people keep saying, oh, the cap, we got so much money left. It's not really that much money when you think about it. With the type of signings that you need to do, only 38 players under contract going into the 2023 season. You know, guys like Daniel Jones, guys like Saquon Barkley who are looking for deals. And that's big money. That's big money. Now, there's ways to manipulate the cap if you do sign these guys so that their cap hits are not, you know, detrimental to the cap itself. But you know, still a lot of money need to be shelled out. Still a lot of positions of need if you want to attack free agency and fill some spots. It's a lot of things that people need to do. A lot of things that people need to do. Joe Shane, a lot of guys need to be signed and things like that in order just to fill the roster. Not just improving the roster, but to just fill the roster so you have enough guys going into training camp, going into preseason. So it seems like a lot of money, but it's not really a lot of money when you're looking at the moves that have to be made in this offseason. And just getting to that a little bit, another position of need, we need another D lineman. You know, we're not sure what's going to happen with Leonard Williams. He's making a lot of money. He also said that he was going to, he would accept a pay cut to stay, but how much of a pay cut is he willing to accept? And then outside of that is health. He wasn't able to play the whole season. We need to be able to find another guy in that mold of Leonard Williams, whether it's in the draft or free agency. I'm thinking draft. That can step in, because again, these guys are getting older. You have to be able to replace these guys with young, good talent, and you also want to keep your cap healthy, so you have to draft out of this world. You have to hit on a lot of these draft picks. Now we have 9 draft picks in this coming up in this draft, possibly 11 with the possible compensatory picks. And you have to knock this draft out of the park. Again, you want to keep your cap healthy, but you also want to keep the team competitive. And that starts with how you draft, the positions that you draft, and, you know, basically just building this team up the way you want to build this team up. So I did keep one position for last as far as needing improvement, and that's the wide receiver room. The wide receiver room needs to be improved vastly. Right now, I believe under contract, you only have Wan'Dale Robinson. Sterling Shepard still under contract. See what happens with that. Colin Johnson, and then Isaiah Hodgins. Those are the wide receivers that are under contract. And when you look at that list, the only person that's healthy is Isaiah Hodgins. Wan'Dale Robinson is hurt. He's saying that he should be back at the start of the year, but what condition is he going to be in? Sterling Shepard, you know what I mean? He's always getting injured. How long can you depend on him before his next injury? Colin Johnson coming off an Achilles, seeing videos of him running, working out, things like that. But again, these guys are coming off of injuries. So you're looking at Isaiah Hodgins as your only healthy wide receiver going into the season. Now you're looking at your free agents, the guys that are up or to become free agents. You got guys like Darius Slayton and Richie James. Now, obviously, I want to improve. I don't want to go into next season with the same exact guys. You know, I want to improve in the wide receiver room. But I'm re-signing Richie James. I think the chemistry he built with Daniel Jones, able to run that slot position, probably the best route runner on the team right now. I'm trying to keep Richie James, whether it's a 1-year deal, 2-year deal. I need Richie James on this team as a security blanket because this room gets injured so often. So if I start my year off with possibly drafting 2 rookies, possibly drafting a lower tier wide receiver to get some veteran help in here as well, you have to address the wide receiver position. You have to. You absolutely have to. And lastly, the most divisive part of the team is Daniel Jones. Again, he's up to become a free agent. Right now, it looks like Joe Schoen wants to re-sign Daniel Jones. I believe he wants to get Daniel Jones signed, but at a fair price to the New York Giants. And we'll see what happens with that. There's ways to manipulate the cap. There's ways to do things like that. But at the end of the day, we need to figure out what exactly they're going to do with Daniel Jones if he's going to be the quarterback for the New York Giants for the few years to come, or for the long term. And we'll see that. And then I'll wrap it up there. We'll get into draft talk, free agent highlights, things like that in another video. But I just wanted to talk about certain positions of need that I think the New York Giants need to address in order to improve and compete for the future. So I want to thank you guys for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dad Schnow's Big Blue Nation. Let's go.